Hello there, and welcome back to another Space Marine VOD review. And this is another exciting one because we have another brand new class this series, which is Assault. And not only just Assault, but Thunderhammer. So who is this madman who is going to be using Thunderhammer for us today? Well, it is, of course, LaggHammer himself, the SOT, aka Kroghammer, aka Chromosome, I guess as he's called here. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. And this is the loadout that he's using. And this is, to my mind, it's absolutely bizarre. Now, we're going to go over exactly why this is such a weird mishmash of perks and weapons that don't really work together very well. But let's get into the game to begin with and see how he does. Now, one thing I will say is that this is, it's a bit choppy. The sound is a bit choppy, so I've turned it down a bit. The gameplay is obviously a little bit choppy, so this is probably the limit to the footage that I will accept. If it's worse than this, then chances are I'm not going to be able to make a video of it. But for this one, I think we can just about get by, because we can just about see what's going on here. So pushing up to B point. Right, that looks like an MC nade, but one thing to note about grenades when playing Assault is that the blast radius in terms of the verticality is a lot greater than it is in terms of linear distance. So against this grenade, let's see where it comes from. Grenade comes directly there. I would have wanted you to move on the ground here because you sort of jumped up and then into it, which does end up getting you a bunch of damage. It's best to try and stay on the ground as much as possible against grenades, because even when you're a considerable distance in the air like this, you would think you would take less damage. No, you're still going to take a great deal of it. Just something to be aware of. Well, this is risky as well, because it's worth noting that, as we just saw, he's playing without impan. So after taking the damage, you're then jumping up and going over. Now, this is something that, having watched this already, this is something that's going to happen a lot. You are jumping up while low on health and exposing yourself to fire. You get away with it here, but again, it's just something to be aware of in terms of what you can try and do. And again, I don't know why you jumped up there. I really don't understand the line of thinking here. So you've taken damage. You've made the slightly odd decision to expose yourself again, and then you expose yourself again. You jump in the air, and it gets you killed because you land on the top. Now, one thing I will say, actually, we'll come to that when we come to moving out of spawn. Your movement, animation cancels, and everything else are absolutely excellent. You clearly know exactly what you're doing with this class, and even with the bolt pistol, which is theoretically slightly limited compared to the plasma pistol, you're moving very fast, and it's clear that it's all very polished. Now, coming from this angle, you know that there's a heavy bolter on the left. This is extremely risky, once again. You're low on health already, playing without impan. You have to assume that you're in his line of sight. He's firing from here. You're on top. I don't know why he hasn't shot you yet, to be honest, but I think it may be just a little bit of awareness thing, but this guy should kill you. This guy should kill you instantly. Without impan, you're just going to drop dead. Taking some shots at this guy here. Okay, I know that your performance is definitely hindered by the recording software, by using the recording software that you got. So I'm going to be a little bit more lenient than I would otherwise be when it comes to actually shooting. But you are obviously aiming to the side and just sort of firing loosely, again, firing a bit too fast. I'm not sure if that's your usual aim or if that's just because of the recording, or if that's just because your PC is struggling a little bit with running the game. But try to time your shots a bit better. From that sort of angle here, you've got time. He's not seen you. If we ignore the heavy bolter, which should kill you here, take your time, zoom in, time your shots, make sure you get those headshots. If we tab into the game, I'll go to that position. We'll talk a little bit about the sort of rate of fire that you want to be looking at. So from here, 4 headshots will do the trick. Now it's worth noting that with this loadout, you can't reload while sprinting. It just does not work. I don't know why. It's just one of those little bugs, which is really frustrating because you have to either reload in the air or you have to basically reload and then sprint off. It's a buggy loadout with hammer, honestly. You don't have this problem with pistol, but obviously that is a plasma weapon, so it doesn't really apply. Anyway, moving on. You're able to get this kill. And then this is strange. I don't get the blind grenades with this, honestly. Blind grenades are pretty good tools, but not necessarily with hammer. The reason for that being that you have to be either ambushing or predicting, and when people get blinded, they tend to move sort of all over the place. They try to evade, especially if I get blinded, I will go into all sorts of evasions, and that's really not what you want when you're using a hammer. You want to be attacking people who are either tunnel visioned or not really paying attention. And if you throw down that blind nade, whoever they are, they're going to start moving. Very, very few players in the game will just sit still and wait for death. So I think you're much better off actually using stims. And we'll talk a bit more about the loadouts the loadout that I'd like you to switch these perks out for. But functionally, I think you've got a choice here because you're running both Hammer and Furious Charge, and I don't think they complement each other very well at all. But just on the subject of blind grenades, I think you're better off with stims because it meshes a lot better with the hammer. Now the reason for that is because the hammer has a penchant for glancing hits. If you don't get a full hit on the targets, let's say they evaded or if it's just a little bit far out, then you're also playing without killing blow, which is even weirder. But with the stims, you're able to pump up that damage and actually get something meaningful rather than the little clip that you'll otherwise get. In fact, no, we'll talk about loadouts now. So I don't get it. I don't know why you're playing without Impen, and I don't know why you're playing without killing blow if you want to use hammer. And I'm assuming that you want to use hammer, since your name is Hammer. So the issue here is that you don't have any fast finisher options except for your pistol. And that's a bit of a problem because if you want to play hammer, you need to be getting those juicy one-shot kills, and otherwise you're just going to die. Especially if you're not playing with Impan. I don't know. There's just so much with this wrong with this loadout. I don't like it, and I'm going to try and break it down in a bit more detail because I'm a little bit incoherent right now. So you need to move in one of two directions. If you're going to play hammer, you need to take Impan, and you really need to take killing blow, and with that, stims is probably a best bet. Now the reason for that is because, like I've said, you need to be able to one-shot targets with the hammer, and you can't do that without killing blow reliably. You also need to take Impan if you're going to use hammer, because there's such a long swing time that often a melter will get a shot off before death. And if you're running without Impan, that shot will kill you. You will not get the hit off, and it's going to be a sad time. Now, the reason why you want to take stims as I've mentioned, so you can amplify the damage of that killing blow glancing hit, and that will actually one-shot assaults and tacticals if you use the stims with it, which makes it very, very difficult for them to avoid. Now, in terms of pistol choice, you can play with bolt pistol with hammer. With the animation cancels that you've got, you clearly are able to do that. You know what you're doing. You're able to close the distance with a zoom cancel charge and then land the swing. But the plasma pistol does do it a bit better. The reason for that is because you can get that jump hit, which is actually really, really important. I won't go over that now because we might actually have a plasma pistol hammer video sometime in the future, but I'm assuming that you already know all of the animation cancels that are possible with the plasma pistol, and I just think they're a little bit better suited to a killing blow hammer rather than what we've got here. Now the flip side to that is if you choose to run with Furious Charge. Now that I would very much like to see you playing with a sword instead, because like I said, you're doubling up on sort of burst damage perks, and you only really need one of those. So with the power sword, you have the flexibility. You can either just go for a single slash to finish off a wounded target, or you're more than capable of landing the double charge. I've seen you do it here in this video multiple times, as we will see. But again, you can take stims, and that's basically a one-shot kill as well on a lot of things. So you just don't really need both. As for air-cooled thrusters, which is the other perk that you're using. Actually, we'll come to that a bit later on because there is a point I want to make about that. But I've spent a while talking already, so let's just run the video. Looks like we're going after this assault here. It's a little unlucky that neither of those landed, but I actually don't know how that hammer swing landed. I don't think you do a whole lot wrong here. The assault isn't aware of your presence, so you are able to move in and use your movement skills. That should land. The second one should land, but I guess it doesn't matter because you do get the hammer hit anyway. So yeah, that's a good kill. Not necessarily because of that hammer hit, but because of what would have happened before had it not been lagging. This is really risky. I don't like you going here. How does he not kill you? Actually, yeah, we will talk about it now. So you're jumping around far too much. I think you're playing extremely hyperactive, and you're able to do that because you get air-cooled thrusters. But a lot of the jumps, I don't really know why you're doing them. So in this scenario, for example, you know there's a heavy bolter there. I don't know why you're jumping up into his line of sight. In fact, there's two players there. These guys really, really should kill you. And this is going to be a bit of a long-running trend, is that you're wasting jump pack fuel. And the reason you're able to do that and get away with it is because you have air-cooled thrusters. But it's still getting you killed because you're playing without Impan, basically in the open. So what I would much prefer you to do is drop air-cooled thrusters. It's a little bit of a crutch in this scenario, and just monitor your jumps a bit more carefully. I'm going to point it out every time we see it. This is one such occasion. You did want to get over there, but you're just playing basically on top of the boxes against heavy bolters, which really should kill you. See, now you're in a much better position, and you definitely can make the play to go on them. You choose not to, and I'm not sure why. You've spent so much effort getting close to them. I don't know why you're not going for them. This is a bit strange, honestly. From this position here, you can probably get on him and kill him before he has a chance to react. Okay, well, one of them's died. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he died. Yeah, that's okay. Again, I don't know why you're taking this sort of... You're looking back towards your own spawn. I don't know if you've heard something or what you're doing, but you're not really monitoring the left side either. From this position here, you don't want to be looking back towards spawn. You want to be looking in this direction, because that's where fire is going to be coming from. So as soon as you jump over this box, you're theoretically going to get mowed down, because you're playing with Adam Pen, you're already low on armor. You land sort of right in the middle, so there's a good chance of getting killed there. But also, why are you jumping here? This is exactly what I mean. This is what I was talking about before. Why do you feel the need to jump? There's nobody around, and if there was anybody around, if you're in the air, you couldn't react as quickly as you might like. I don't know. It just feels a bit hyperactive, really. You're just jumping around for no reason, when in this scenario, if we move to that position in the game. So you're playing around here. You're capping the point, just tuck in here. There's very little that they can do, or if you want to play it extra safe, tuck in here. There's no need to be jumping around doing this sort of thing. I don't get it. You're putting yourself at risk for no reason. Anyway, back to the video. You are jumping around, and I'm not sure why. Okay, you are able to react to that assault, which is good. This is a good charge. I don't know quite why it doesn't do full damage, but I guess it's a little bit of a laggy lobby. Didn't quite get the jump that you wanted there. And again, you're using fuel, and I don't know why. What is the purpose of this little jump? I don't understand it. I mean, is it just to reload? I don't know. Maybe. It just feels all a bit... Again, you're turning your back. I think the main thing to take away from this is that you're putting yourself at risk far too much. In this scenario here, you've got your back to the enemy spawn. For no good reason either. Okay. Putting in a blind nade there, I guess. This scenario I would want to see you shooting, actually. At this distance here, just shoot him. I mean, admittedly you're playing without him pan, so if he shoots back you're probably going to die. But he doesn't seem too inclined to do that, so you might as well try some shots before moving in for the kill here. Okay. This is risky. This is so risky. You're playing without him pen. I can't stress it enough. You just can't afford to be playing in the open like this. You're doing this big long jump just to reload and fire a single shot. People should kill you. There's a guy capping point as well. There are so many angles at which you can be shot from here. If we take this point at the apex of your jump, you can be shot from this balcony. You can be shot by this guy. You can be shot... Okay, not necessarily coming from here, but if there's someone moving up from here, they can shoot you. And you know they're capping B point, so they're going to shoot you from here as well. You're very, very exposed. It's risky. It's really risky. Again, playing on top of the box, it's strange. Going for the charge. Yep, that should have killed him. That should have killed him. I'm not sure how it doesn't, because that was a very nice move actually. Let's just run it back slowly. It's hard to tell because it's so choppy, but for those of you who can't see, what he does is he goes for the flying tackle and then immediately cancels it into a standing charge, which is good. This is exactly what you want to be doing with Furious Charge, really. And it does help that you can cancel it a little bit early with Hammer, I guess. Ooh, that was close. That was close. Oh, why are you jumping again? Okay, so you survived this just about. I don't know why you jumped up onto there in the first place. It's a risky move again. You do get away with it. Then from here, you just want to tuck in there. So once you've come, if we tab into the game, you come up here, you've got shot, you've just about made it down here with your life. Just tuck in here and regen. This is pretty safe. You can check all directions, but Moving up like this is just suicide. You don't need to do that. If you really, really feel the need to move past this gap, charge cancel across and stay. It's so much safer than this, because I'm amazed that nobody finishes you off here. Again, yep, you're jumping up on top with a sliver of HP. Oh, that guy should kill you as well. Oh, this is terrifying stuff, honestly. And you're still going in for him with so little health, and it pays off. Okay, I mean that's a very nice kill, but I want you to play it safe here. I really do want you to play it safe. This whole sequence of play here is absolutely insanely risky. There are about 3 people who just don't seem to kill you, and look at this. Look, this guy is being shot. You can see the Stormbolter fire coming in from here. If just 2 of them or so clip you, then you're dead. Oh, please, just play a little bit safer. Just be a little bit more patient, I think, is the answer here. That's a nice kill though, like I say. Oh, this is hurting me. This is hurting me. You just jump straight into the middle of the of their spawn. Like there's 2 or 3 guys coming from this direction here, and you're still on like 20 health. And remember, without impan, this is just straight up 60 armor. Oh, they should kill you. They really should kill you here. Oh, they do. Okay. I'm not. Okay, this is vexing. This is vexing. You've got away with it up to here. You see, oh, they're coming. Go here. There's 2 or 3 guys here. You need to break line of sight. Just jumping backwards it gets you killed. It really gets you killed. There are about 3 or 4 occasions where you've got away with your life somehow, but this one they finally do punish you. Just look how fast you die. This is again another reason to play in pen, but also to just not play in line of sight of 1 person, let alone 2 or 3, because you're so squishy with this loadout. You're so incredibly squishy. It's entirely unmitigated by stims either, which is a potential option if you want to not instantly die. Again, you're jumping up on here. This is too risky for my liking. I don't like that. I don't know. I don't know why. Why did you jump up? From this position here, you see there's a guy, and then you jump up there. If you want to be playing with the Furious Charge, this is a position to just flying tackle for him. Like, you can just flying tackle straight onto him here. Going up to here, it just buys him time to adjust to where you've gone. He turns and engages at this point, which makes this a lot more difficult to get the kill on. You then drop and try and tackle, but it doesn't pay off. Yeah, I think at this point here, when this is missed, and you see the grenade go down, you need to basically start again. You need to disengage and try again. Just fly this direction. Get away from him, because this is no longer favourable engagement. Remember what I said earlier about needing the element of surprise? You've lost it completely here, and it's very difficult to land either a charge or a hammer hit on someone who's already seen you coming. At the very least, as soon as this grenade goes off, you need to get out of there. Admittedly, it's hard to tell how low he is, but I would want you to jump up on the balcony from this position. Get up top, just regen, play it safe. Going for the pistol kill here, it could have worked if that was MC and he almost killed himself. It's just risky. You do actually land a couple of hits, but no, it's not worth the risk. Let's see how much health he had. 35. You were 1 shot off, honestly, so that wasn't terrible. It was just really risky. And that's like the definition of your play here. It's unnecessary risk, I think. You're playing a bit too impatiently for my liking. Again, jumping up into the middle. Why are you doing this? Why are you jumping just sort of mid-jumps into the middle? I don't understand the rationale here. So you jump up, I guess you're scouting. Fair enough, you're in cover, but then you jump again. You're just wasting fuel here. You see what I mean? If you didn't have air-cooled thrusters and didn't do this stuff, it wouldn't be a problem. Why? Okay, if you want to be sort of surveying the area with this sort of loadout, do it from up top. Do it from here. Your balcony, for example. If you're up here, you can see just about the entire area with relative safety. But just sort of doing mid-jumps like this, I don't get it. You're putting yourself so much at risk. And it's just unnecessary, and it will get you killed. The reason why you're able to do this is because you have air-cooled thrusters, but that's not an incentive to do it. Just because you have jump pack fuel doesn't mean you need to use it. And again, you're doing the same as before. You're taking a bunch of damage and then putting yourself straight back in the line of fire. Look, you're really low. You're right in the middle. In this position, you just drop down from here. Just tuck in here. He can't hit you from there. Just play it safe. You really have to play safe, especially with that impen. Then you jump up and... oh, you get away with... oh, no, you don't get away with it. You don't get away with it. It may look like that was because of a wall shot, but honestly, the reason is because you jump back into the line of fire. You deserve to die in this scenario. Yeah, you can't be doing that. You cannot be doing that. Whether or you have impen or whether you don't have impen, it's just not worth the risk. There's nothing to be gained by doing these sorts of jumps, except for wasting fuel, which you don't necessarily have to worry about fuel when you're playing with AC thrusters, but you want to be getting out of the habit of needing them, I would say. Firing some shots, it's just a little bit rushed. It's a little bit unsteady. I don't know if your sensitivity is a little bit high or if it's just difficult for you to aim with the choppiness of your game. Again, I'm not going to be too harsh on that because I know that you are struggling with the conditions a bit. This is why you need impen. And also this is why you need the element of surprise. This basically illustrates everything that I was saying about patient play. Why do you feel the need to jump into this guy? What are you expecting to happen? At this point here, you can quite clearly see he's got a melter, and even if he didn't, he sees you coming. It's very easy to avoid a charge that sees you coming. That you see coming, I should say. From this scenario here, there's really no safe way to engage a melter. There really isn't with this loadout. Maybe if you stand up top and shoot, but then you'll still probably get outshot with that impen. It's a drinking game for you. Take a shot every time I say impen in this game. Every time I say the word, you'll be under the table. You'll be under the table in the space of 5 minutes or so. I just keep saying it, but I can't stress the point enough. You need impenetrable on assault. It just doesn't work otherwise, especially in this sort of scenario. Admittedly, jumping down the barrel of the melter is a bad idea, whichever loadout you're using, but doubly so when you're just going to get one shot like this. No, bad, naughty, don't do it. Never again. Never do that again. Okay, looks like you're going to try and deal with him. You've got a teammate here. Okay, used a little bit of fuel there. Looks like he moved. This is not a good approach though. From this position here, he should kill you. If he's round there, if he's round this corner, and you come this close to the corner, he kills you. So, instead, let's talk about a better approach to that point. So, coming from here, you have to assume that he's going to be holding this corner. So, better approach is just to come up here. You know you've got teammates supporting. From this angle here, you see how I'm using this lower cover to obscure most of my body. You're still at risk, don't get me wrong, you're always at risk against any sort of character with a gun when you don't have impen, but from here, you just sort of poke away at him, which gives your teammates a chance to come across and cover. If you really want to, you can then go in for the flying tackle, but I would not recommend it against a melter. It's just not worth the risk. It looks like he is already dead, so it doesn't matter, but I think that would have been the better way to approach the situation in general. Okay, you're blinding to cover. You do get a hit marker, so we know there's someone there. I feel like, normally, while I would say that the bolt pistol is the better choice if you're going to be using it for shooting instead of the plasma pistol, with the conditions that you're playing in, and the way that you're sort of struggling to land these shots, plasma pistol might be the better option, actually, because you can just sort of spam freely, and it doesn't really matter if you don't land them, because especially the Furious Charge, you only need a few shots to actually land with the plasma pistol to be able to one-shot the target afterwards. Ooh. Okay, you got the kill there. I feel like he was... well, you were just as surprised to see this guy as he was. No, there's nothing much to say about that one. You had him boxed in, so he was pretty much dead unless he had a melter in his pocket. Okay, looks like you're going to pursue this guy. You also can be firing a lot faster with pistol here. I don't mind the decision to finish him with a pistol. That's definitely the right choice, because the hammer is just a little bit slow. You've landed the hit, so you can just finish him with a pistol, but you can fire a lot faster. At that sort of range, there really is no reason not to. I mean, just gone in like this. Landed the hit. I mean, you're not going to need that many shots, but in case you do, just fire that quickly. It's a point blank. You can't miss. Again, using fuel, but at least you're on the point with this one. I don't really mind how you're hunting in the sort of mid-area. It does seem to be working, but this is risky. Oh, I don't know why you're firing from up top. If you really want to be shooting, and you can't really afford to be shooting without a pen, but if you do want to, shoot from here. If you look at the way that this cover is set up, you're hiding your entire body and jump pack are hidden. If you're firing from up here, you're just completely exposed. There's a very good chance that these guys are just going to one-shot you. Firing from that position specifically. I don't know if maybe you meant to drop. No, I guess you are trying to do it from here. It's not worth the risk. Don't mind the decision to throw in the blind just to disrupt them. You're basically becoming all the things that people hate in this game. Congrats. Oh, we know there's someone capping. Take your time. You're just jumping blindly. You don't know where he is. You just know there's someone there. So just jumping in the air and then sort of scanning and then jumping again is not the best of choices. If you didn't have air-cooled thrusters, you couldn't be doing this. You just wouldn't not get away with it. Okay, this is a better choice. You've made the decision to just pull back to the side, which is good. Then coming up on top again. I don't know what you're fighting here. I don't know what you're trying to engage with these jumps. Because fuel is such an important resource in this game, especially when you're playing, well, obviously when you're playing an assault marine. You essentially, normally, I suppose you have 3 jumps with air-cooled, but if you have no air-cooled, you basically want to use one jump to engage, and the other as an escape when things go pear-shaped. You can double down and use the second to engage as well, if you've already used the first one and you want to get the kill, but that makes things risky. One thing you really want to avoid is engaging without full fuel. There's just no reason to do it. Especially in this scenario, you don't need to be fighting people without full fuel. The only reason you don't have full fuel is because you're jumping around for no reason. You're just wasting it. So it looks like you're going to commit to capping the point. I guess, maybe. Again, sort of jumping around for no real reason. Okay, that guy died. I guess you were chasing him. Okay, going to cover the home point. Even when there's nobody around, this is still really rushed. Like, you're really rushing these jumps. It's just not economical at all when it comes to fuel. You really have time to place these properly. Maybe you thought there was still someone here, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Maybe it's difficult to tell what's going on around you because of the choppiness of the game. There's someone here. I don't like that decision making, honestly. I mean, it could have paid off. I guess you didn't realize he had a hammer. The only way this is really not a good play is if he does have a hammer, because going for the flying tackle like that is risky. It's always risky going for a blind tackle on the guy. But, I mean, that should connect. That should connect, really. Yeah, the game was a bit harsh on you there. I feel like that should have connected. At this point here, as soon as you see that's a hammer, jump. You need to jump. Actually, not that direction. Jump this direction. This being the vertical plane. Jump back and up. I guess that's what you tried to do. A little bit unlucky there, honestly, that the first one didn't connect properly. It's always risky going for blind tackles like that, especially with tackle being such a sort of inconsistent, shall we say, means of dealing damage. I guess I can't really be too harsh on you there because you didn't know he had a hammer. You didn't see that before. Okay, why are you going here though? What have you seen? I don't get it. What's the rationale here? I don't understand. You see the guy's dead, but you're still going in to cover your home point. It's not flashing. You know nobody's capping it. I don't get it. This is a waste of time, honestly. I would much prefer you to be going after the home point, the enemy home point. Because if we look at the map, you're spending a lot of time here. This is where you probably spent 90% of your game time so far. Now, that's all well and good. This can work on this map. You're playing a bit too much in the open for my liking, but there's nothing specifically wrong with that. But one thing I would like you to do more is go for the enemy home point. You've got the mobility to get there very, very quickly. You've got the mobility to get out of there very, very quickly as an assault. So when you feel like you need to move the action, this is a very good play. Now, as an assault, you've got so many approaches to do that. You can come from here, you can go through underneath, you can go through over the top. It's just a better choice, and I really don't know why you went to your home point here. Right moves to get there, just wrong point. I don't get it. Okay, so there's a heavy bolter there. Your eyes should be lighting up at this stage. Because heavy bolters are essentially possibly the only thing that hammers are absolutely S tier against. Hammer versus heavy bolter is a fantastic matchup for you. There's very little that they can do, especially if you're able to get an ambush off. So what I would want you to do is, as soon as you see him, from this point on, you know he's there, you've heard him, you've seen him, get yourself over to this position here, wait for full fuel, then go and jump on him and get that swing off. It might not insta-kill him if he's got feel no pain, or in fact you don't have killing blow, so it won't insta-kill him potentially, unless he's injured already. But just get yourself into that position, because this is the sort of target you want to be going for. Prey on the weak with hammer. You don't necessarily need to go for anyone who presents themselves. Okay, the blind grenade. You've hit the target, I guess. Ooh, that was risky. He could have killed you there. It wasn't a great executed tackle. Oh, we've not gone back far enough. From here, this is a bit of an ambitious range to get it. I think just shooting him is your best bet here. Okay, I don't mind the attempt to bait. And then I was going to say that was the right decision to disengage, but you went straight back in. And now we're still doing this weird jumping around on the point, which I don't understand at all. You're just jumping around in line of sight. You've got to be aware of these things, especially when it's the enemy spawn, because there's going to be players coming out of there all the time. You see, this whole time, for the last 10 seconds or so, you've just been jumping around achieving very little. And this is a very good kill. This is exactly the sort of style that you want to be taking. You don't want to be saying, look, here I am, I'm jumping around on the point. You want to be attacking people who haven't seen you coming. And this is textbook, honestly. You see the guy there, he hasn't seen you. Down from the high ground, get the tackle, get the charge, he's dead. This is very good. This is exactly what I want you to be doing more. Instead of this weird hoppy skip stuff in line of sight of shooters. Okay, yeah, good kill, like I say. Oh, sorry, my instincts are just screaming at me every time you go in line of the enemy spawn. They're going to shoot you. They're just going to shoot you. You don't even check to see if they're going to. You don't check to see if there's anyone there. You just blindly jump into the middle on very low health. You should die here. You really should. I don't know why there's nobody there shooting you. Maybe because you just got lucky and there's nobody coming out of spawn at this particular moment. You can't afford to do this, though. You just can't. Some of the weapons will one-shot you, some of them will two-shot you, but all of them will have a really, really low time to kill on you here. It's just not worth the risk. Now, playing from this angle on the right side is actually a lot better. With this loadout, in this sort of scenario, now your team is basically squeezing them. Playing from this side is ideal. You can play up here if you like, you can really survey the area, and then if someone comes down there, jump and get the tackle. If they go to the other side, you can tackle. I just don't really get the obsession with jumping around in the central area. You really want to be playing corners with this. See them coming, plan your ambush, then go for it. Never fight them head on with this loadout. You will die. You will die consistently against anyone who knows what they're doing, really. It's just too squishy. Backing around to the right side, again playing on top. Too risky, don't do it. Yeah, you're really not comfortable with the pistol shooting here. You're playing on the top again! No, 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 don't do it, please. Please, you're being shot from the side. You're low on health. You're still in his line of sight if you go on top. You're still there. Oh my goodness, this is hurting me. This is hurting me, honestly. From here, They're firing from here. You're still completely in the open, completely exposed. You don't need to be doing this. Just simply by going down here and moving up this way, it's 10 times a better play, honestly. You're just completely in line of sight at all times. It's so risky. It's so risky. I don't know how you got away with that. Oh, you... This is giving me anxiety. It really is. I keep sounding like a stuck record here, but you don't need to jump in the air. You don't need to do it here. You're completely exposed. If anyone has any sort of mechanical aim on the other team here, you're just going to die. It's so risky because you're not even looking in the direction that fire's likely to come from. Okay, this is where I would want you to finish him with pistol. I mean, that works too, but it's a bit clunky. From this position here, as soon as this one misses, shoot him. You don't need to go for another tackle because it's not really going to land when he's moving this direction. Whoops, what have I pressed? What have I pressed? Oh, it's okay. He's moving that way. This is an ambitious tackle. You're unlikely to land this, so just stand and shoot. Again, being mindful that you're going to get shot from here, but you should only need maybe 2-3 shots to finish the kill here. You can do that and then get out. It doesn't really matter in the end because you do land the hammer swing. Just something to bear in mind. I think that would have been the better option. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely not comfortable with this. I'm going to say that's because of the conditions. That's a nice tackle. That's a good kill. Oh, you're probably dead here. Okay, just stay in the corner. No! No, stay in the corner. Oh. Again, you got away with murder. From this position, you need to stay tucked in here. Stay here. Here or here. This is the only position you're not going to die from if the enemies are actually going to be able to aim. Because there's a guy firing from up top here. As soon as you move out either this way or further out that way, or in fact if you just fly up, he should kill you. He really should. And you're also covered from this angle here if you're in behind these boxes. You're flying up and getting away with it. I'm not quite sure how. Okay. Looks like you're going to respond to your home point. That's fine by me, honestly. All you need to really do is just hold 1 and stop them capping B. Spending too long on home point. I don't know why. There's a lot of inexplicable decisions here. I don't quite understand. What are you achieving here? Why are you guarding this so astutely? You can see you got teammates there as well. Okay, that's a nice kill. The tackle into the hammer swing. A little bit risky to go for the tackle at this range, but I guess you're able to cancel it and then get the kill, so that's good. Just move in and help cap. Yeah, that's it. Why are you going forwards, though? No. No. So, once you've got onto point here, you don't want to be shot. You just don't want to be shot. Again, here, this is the best place to cap this point, either there or there. But moving out here, where you do go, completely exposed, again. I'm like a stuck record here. I really am. But I just keep seeing the same thing happening over and over again. And you keep getting away with it, which is even weirder. I feel like if I did that, I'd just instantly die. Regardless of which class I was playing or if I had in pen. Okay, looks like... Okay, that's the end of the game. Right. Okay, so... Let's just sum up what we've seen. So, your movement is excellent. You clearly know exactly what you're doing. I mean, admittedly, you're bumping your head and getting a bit stuck at times, but mechanically speaking, you know what you're doing, and I think that's probably because of the lag of recording. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there. Your movement, like I say, high level, you know all the animation cancels, you really know your way around the loadout. It's just mostly the decision making and the loadout itself. As I've mentioned, you really need to pick one of 2 directions. You either go with Furious Charge, or you go with the Killing Blow Hammer, and either way you need to have in pen. Splitting between the two is not only suboptimal, it's actually hampering you because you don't need air-cooled thrusters without jumping around like a lunatic. If you don't do that, you don't need air-cooled thrusters. So just take in pen, please. I also am not a huge fan of the blind grenades. I think stims are better whichever way you go. And I'm just not super keen on your bolt pistol usage. I think you'll be better served by a plasma pistol, and at least until you can get a better rig going and not have awful lags every time you try and aim. In terms of positioning, I don't mind that you were hanging around B point a lot. Like I said before, this was the area you were playing in. I did want you to see you go to their home point though. And maybe you could actually play a bit closer to the spawn. If you sort of play around these areas, around here, when people come out, you can really get the drop on them and ambush them. Just, I think, thinking about the lines of sight that you're exposed from, thinking about where you're going to be shot from and being a bit more aware of that, it's going to do you a world of good. Because this is actually something I've noticed when I've played against you, a lot of the time you just sort of are floating around waiting to be shot. And you clearly are capable of moving in an efficient way. I just want you to make use of that, really. You don't need to be playing in the open so much. You don't need to be hanging in the air for so long. Anything else? What have I missed? I think that just about covers it, to be honest. Those are the main things I would like you to work on. I think if you do those, you'll be absolutely fine. And once you get a better PC, if you get a better PC, I think it'll make a great deal of difference as well. So that wraps this one up. Thank you for watching if you've lasted this long all the way to the end. As always, you can send in videos. It doesn't matter the class, it doesn't matter which loadout you're using. I will probably criticize you if you're using a funky loadout. That's something a little bit off meta. But just send in whatever footage you want, as long as it's sort of average gameplay for your standard. We don't want to have something where you're absolutely dominating, because then it'll be a little difficult to find things to talk about. And at the same time, I don't want things where you're absolutely getting your ass kicked, because that's a little unrepresentative of your usual play. And actually, a lot of the time when your team is absolutely getting rolled, you might not be doing a whole lot wrong, but you'll still die a lot anyway. So that wraps this one up. And as always, I will see you on the battlefield.